help you double or triple your profits every 2 to 3 years while actually maintaining some semblance of a home life. Call us at 713-201-5559 and we'll help you become a real success.
The best bilingual news, business talk, and technology content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You are watching NowMedia Television, the first bilingual media network in the United States.
Hey, I'm Michael Rager, your business guide here on Biz Talk TV on the NowMedia Television networks. I'm telling you, today we're going to have a great show. It's going to be, a day we talk about new things and how do we go attack new markets. I know we're going to start off, we're going to be talking a little bit of purple politics. It's always great to have Elaine on. But we've got a new contributor today. We're going to talk about how we break into the pet insurance industry and why it was chosen and how did we actually, dig deep down to figure out one niche inside that pet insurance market to really grow the business. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to have some great talks today. We're going to learn a little bit about good debt and bad debt from Linda Chung. I hope you stay with us. You're going to enjoy today. Biz Talk TV, Michael Rager, NowMedia Television. Come back right after this.
Best bilingual news, business talk, and technology content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You are watching NowMedia Television, the first bilingual media network in the United States.
En esta era digital, las tarjetas de presentación de negocio son cosa del pasado. De hecho, la mayoría de las personas que las reciben las pierden en cuestión de minutos. La videotarjeta de negocios de NowMedia es un video de su negocio especialmente creado por nuestros expertos con toda su información de contacto, los productos y servicios de su negocio y puede ser enviado de manera rápida utilizando su teléfono móvil. Cientos de negocios ya están viendo la diferencia. Llámenos hoy al 832-384-9588.
Palitos y Bolitas es la catedral de la explicación. Este programa es la única parada que necesitas para entender los porqués y cómo de todo lo que pasa en México y el mundo. Lunes a viernes, 7 p.m. por Heraldo Televisión.
Según el FBI, un robo ocurre cada 13 segundos. Los hogares y negocios sin un sistema de seguridad confiable tienen 300% más de probabilidades de ser robados. Alert 360 proporciona soluciones de seguridad sólidas y personalizadas a clientes residenciales y comerciales, ya sea seguridad en el hogar, detección de incendios y monóxido de carbono, protección contra inundaciones, atención conectada para personas mayores, soluciones de vigilancia administradas por video, monitoreo de alarma las 24 horas al día, 7 días a la semana y seguridad de personas. Alert 360 es su solución ideal. Además, Alert 360 tiene integraciones inteligentes para el hogar y el negocio, para una total tranquilidad, protegiendo lo más importante y reduciendo los costos de energía con nuestras funciones de programación automática de primera línea. Alert 360 ofrece descuentos en servicios de seguridad a personal militar, veteranos, primeros respondientes, educadores y personal hospitalario. No seas víctima, da un paso fuerte hoy. Llame a Rosana Torres al 832-863-8574 para su consulta gratuita.
Hey, welcome back to Biz Talk TV. I'm your business host and guide, Michael Rager. As you can see by the sign behind me, it's time for Purple Politics. Alina, how are you today?
I am fantastic, Michael. It's good to see you.
Well, it's good to see you. It's been a whole week. We've had some really good discussions before we got here. So which way are we going to go today? We got a couple rabbit holes we can go down, and because there's a lot going on politically. Which way we want to go today? Do we want to start with the obvious stuff, or we want to go a little less obvious today?
Well, I think both of them are obvious, but there's one that is definitely, it's a volcano that's begun to erupt, and that would be First Amendment rights in the Trump indictments, which he's appearing today in court at 4. But I think that there's a more important issue underlying a lot of what we have been discussing in the past, and that is our aging congressional members and what we as the people need to do, because we currently have congressional members that have a lifetime appointment under the illusion of being elected. And so I was thinking that I was very hot about that, especially after seeing Senate Minority Leader Michael McCarthy having that 30-second episode. And that is a concern. I mean, that's a health concern. But also, what does that say for the way our government is being led?
Well, yeah, it's there, and I think we've seen it. It's some of these people in Congress and the Senate, they're there 25, 30, 35 years, and then what happens is their kids get elected. And we're seeing generational lines. I knew growing up in Michigan there was a couple families that were just there forever, and that's who we saw. That's where they were. You just voted for them because their name was on the ballot, and people are doing that. How do we change it? I mean, it seems like everybody talks term limits, but when it comes to really implementing it, it never moves. Why not?
Well, I think that, first of all, congressional members would have to vote to enact term limits, and that's not going to happen. And the other argument, too, is because I know in Florida we have term limits for our legislatures. And the reality is once you have a newly elected senator or representative, by the time they get their leadership under their belt, they kind of get the ways of how things are done at our Tallahassee Capitol, they're about to term out. So there is definitely pros and cons. My thinking, though, is perhaps we need to enact a mandatory retirement age. And I'm not saying 62, 64, anything, but maybe 75, maybe 80. I mean, we're talking, Joe Biden was a senator for 45 years. Mm-hmm. That is over half his life. And we're not talking his presidential term. I mean, we have people that have what seems to be a lifetime appointment. And that is the issue, because our forefathers, when they were designing this great country, they wanted to ensure that there was not a ruler. So that's why we have term limits on our president. However, there is a huge power held by congressional members. And when you have someone like, I think Pelosi was elected in the 80s, I mean, you have people that have been there that potentially are lifetimers. So why is it that we have this autocrat, section of our government that do as they please, stay on until death, that doesn't hold true for the vast majority of us when we're working or even our president is termed out? It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, yeah, I like the idea of mandatory retirement age. I think that's something very important. But when it's we the people now are saying, hey, we don't want you there forever, but the only one that can vote it out is you guys who are there forever, we the people lose, don't we?
It's time to change it up. Yeah. And it kind of goes into, how is it that you have someone like the senator from California that's 90 that looks like she's incapacitated, had to be told, and I apologize, her name popped out of my head, but she had to be told how to vote. But yet she was reelected. And so the question is how is it that she is being reelected? Is it because the full force of the Democratic National Committee, or the full force, if you're a Republican, of the Republican National Committee are behind you, plus all of these super PACs, all of this money. And for those of us that are voters, we tend to vote party line. It's kind of like this wicked cycle that we want change, but we can't get the change because the people who hold the purse strings basically are telling us these are who we're voting for. That's actually happening even now with the Democratic presidential primary. We have three, at least I know of three candidates that are running for the Democratic nomination for president. Our current president, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and Marianne Williamson. Now, RFK, he's making some real waves, and he is appealing to a vast majority of people on the Republican side, on the Democratic side, and the independent side. However, the Democratic National Committee had determined, no, Joe is our candidate. We're not having debates. We're not having this. How is this promoting a proper election or allowing the people to have choices in who they get to vote for?
Well, yeah, that's it. And I think for sure, I kind of get here, we start looking at the Electoral College as well. You know, us being in Texas, even if I wanted to vote Democrat, it doesn't matter because there's no way it's going to win. You know, especially when we're looking at national elections. How do we start looking at this and changing it? Because one of the things that I see, and I don't want to tick people off, but I probably will, but I think a lot of people, when they go to the polls, they're lazy. It's way easier to vote straight ticket than it actually is to take some time and understand who's actually being elected and what skill set do they have and what's their background and why should we put them in office. I just think as a society we become lazy.
Well, absolutely. If you look at it, it's name recognition. So let's go back. Yeah, if Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was not a Kennedy, and let's just say he was Robert F. Johnson, would people have as much of an attraction to hear what he says? Or is it because he is part of the Kennedy lineage, you know, the Camelot family? And you could say with the Bush family at one point. I mean, you had two family members, a father and son, that were both president. You have, I think, obviously Jeb Bush, who was governor. I believe it is Jeb's son that was running for governor at one point for Texas, and he may be an elected official prior to that.
Railroad commissioner.
So we definitely have like political dynasty families, even couples, the Clintons.
Yeah.
But you got to look at it. It's like, okay, so if we don't want these dynasties, if we don't want this lifetime potential of a career, how do we get more power within the people and how do we educate the people? And then it also could go to, I mean, let's look at advertising. You know, people who spend a lot of money on advertising and such get their name recognized.
Yeah.
But again, that's the campaign reforms.
Well, I think that's a lot of it too. The advertising budgets that some of these guys have is ridiculous. And if there's got to be a way to even that playing field. Here's all the money you get. Go spend it smartly. You can't spend more. You can't do anything else. Just because people are donating to you, we're seeing it there because that's how we know that agendas are getting pushed. I'm going to give you $30 million to win. Now, when I need stuff voted for, you better vote for me. And you know, we know that happened. I mean, it's so obvious. All right, we got about a minute and a half. You know, this always goes fast. You talked about censorship and stuff like that going on with Kennedy. That was a very interesting play last week, you know, and how does it hurt Kennedy's potential besides the fact that the DNC has already said, hey, we're not even going there. We're not going to allow him to even go up and debate against Biden.
Actually, it is helping him. It really is. And I have to tell you, I've been following him. He's doing a very grassroots, minimal type of funding type of things in that he's using social media. He's being, on Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, which you would never think Fox News would have him on, but he has. But you know what I love about it is he's speaking the truth. I mean, he's testifying before a congressional hearing on censorship, and his own party were trying to censor him. 102 Democrats signed a letter for him to be censored. First Amendment right to free speech is not supposed to be about what is flowery and lovely and agreeable. It's there to protect those things that are not favorable or could be offensive. I mean, I personally would never burn our American flag. However, I will protect the rights of people because on their constitutional rights, they can burn our flag.
Right.
For instance. But for RFK, I think every time the DNC or the Democratic Party or someone launches something against him or tries to hold him down, he's been able to spin it by being very forthright and speaking about it, and it's giving him bigger platforms.
Well, let's hope it continues. At least we got to get to the point that we've got two people that it looks like we're going to have to vote for next year. And I think it's the two people that most of us don't want to vote for. You know, we want better choices, and we got to come up with ways to get better choices.
Well, and again, we're looking at two 80-some-year-olds.
Yeah.
Potential, if the polls are correct. Now, again, polls have been wrong before. In 2016, they were definitely way off.
Yeah.
And maybe there is still hope. I feel like there are enough new candidates too that are doing ripples, like Vivek on the Republican side. He's interesting and he's fun.
He is interesting.
He's very outspoken. So maybe there will be enough ripples. And if those of us that really want to bring back common sense to our nation and have representative government of the people, not the corporation, now is the time to start standing up.
Well, awesome, Alina. This is always awesome. I love Purple Politics. You guys should hear us before we get on camera. It's even better then. So it's good to see you. We'll talk to you more next week. I'm Michael Rager here on Biz Talk TV. We'll be back with more on the NowMedia Television networks right after this.
Hey, Lily says AT&T's giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
Hello, my name is Charles Sanders, and I'm a personal injury attorney with the Rose Sanders Law Firm, based in Texas and with offices in Houston, Dallas, McAllen, and El Paso. We assist individuals throughout the entire state who have suffered harm due to the negligence of another person. With my experience as an insurance adjuster, I understand and I know exactly how to counter the strategies employed by insurance companies, and I'm bringing this knowledge to you. We handle a wide variety of situations, ranging from car accidents to defamation and unsafe property conditions. We are here to provide support and legal representation at no cost to you. Call us today at 713-221-3773.
Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Godet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life.
The best bilingual news, business talk, and technology content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You are watching NowMedia Television, the first bilingual media network in the United States.
El tema está en los países. Liderazgo y experiencia. Nuestro país debe meterse en las grandes discusiones y en los grandes debates. Son parte de una carrera exitosa. Se juegan dos estados. Él es referente en el periodismo. No definen el 2024. Javier Solórzano te espera cada noche para llevarte las noticias, el análisis y las entrevistas más importantes de lo que sucede día a día en el país. Este es el referente de la noche.
Hey, welcome back to Biz Talk TV. I'm your business host and guide, Michael Rager. And hey, if you're a pet lover, we've got this segment for you right now. We're going to welcome, here to Biz Talk TV for the first time, Andreas and Nick of Kangaroo. Gentlemen, how you doing today?
Mike, thanks for having us.
Hey,
Michael, it's a pleasure to be here.
So you guys have got a pretty niche product. You guys came out with insurance that specifically protects your pet. Tell us a little bit about the product and what does it do?
Sure. So, Mike, thanks again for the space. I'll take a step back and just say that, our stories as founders are special because they're born from a shared passion with Nick for pets. We are pet parents. Nick, proud pet parent of Toby, and myself, proud parent of Oliver. And really, the commitment to providing this innovative solution while addressing a real need in the marketplace. I would say after more than a decade of working in the financial sector, we realized there's a lot of opportunity for the pet insurance space. So we see that in the U.S., there's more than 4.4 or close to 5 million insured pets out of the 160 million pets that are out there. And it's growing fairly quickly, right? 28% a year, 30% a year over the past 5 years. So there's plenty of room to grow. And more than half, or exactly, I would say 70% of American households have a pet. So our focus is really on serving our customers and providing the best product as quickly, as effectively, and as rapidly as we can. And we're earning the trust of our community, and we're committed to continue and innovate to expand our operations to make Kangaroo a leading brand in the pet health insurance market in the U.S.
Nick, let me ask you a question. So, we were showing some statistics up there. What's the thing that really frustrates pet owners about, going to the vet, having vet bills, and why is it important to them to get an insurance product like yours? And what has frustrated them with the insurance products that were available before you guys came along?
Yeah, so look, most people, most households treat their pets as kids, right? So we always tell our customers, if your kids have health insurance, then your pets should as well, right? I think the frustrating part about being a pet owner is having an accident or developing an illness, walking into a vet and walking out with a $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 vet bill. Where most people don't have that kind of liquidity lying around and they get into debt, right? Because they're trying to save their child. So there's a very emotional and very kind of clear problem, right? The cost of vet care over the last 5 years has increased very significantly. The lifetime cost of ownership of a pet is something that I think most consumers underestimate when they get into that commitment. And we view having pet insurance as really a financial tool that everyone should have as part of the responsibility of pet ownership. Most people, I think this mentality is quickly changing, but most people realize that they should have had pet insurance kind of after the fact. So I would tell you a big part of our message is an educational one. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I think most people with any type of insurance wish they would have had the insurance after they need it. We as people, we don't want to buy stuff that we may need until we need it, and health insurance is one of those things that as humans we need it. And as you said, the pet care, the amount that it costs to have a pet now is just skyrocketed. How much has it skyrocketed in like the last decade?
Yeah, so I think the average dollar amount of vet bills that someone could see in the life of a pet is something like $28,000-$30,000. So it's certainly something most people don't budget for. The other thing that we to answer one of your earlier questions, what makes us different, better than the existing offerings is that we also offer an optional coverage, which is preventive and wellness, which allows people to use the insurance on a day-to-day basis without a deductible, right? So people can get their vaccines, their teeth, the dog or cat's teeth cleaning, blood work, so on and so forth, without a deductible. So when Andres and I set out to start Canguro, we said, let's create a product that protects in those extreme cases, but also a product where the consumer sees the benefit in their day-to-day.
So one of the things you gentlemen decided to do when you started this company was really focus on the Latino community. What made you guys decide to go that way, and how has it benefited your company?
Well, the U.S. has, as I've mentioned before, close to 5 million pets, and specifically with the Latino community, between, I would say, 2007, 2017, so during that decade, the number of Latinos with pets in their homes skyrocketed, to close to 20%. That's like a 55% increase just in that decade. So the reality is pet parents are spending thousands of dollars, like Nick mentioned, on vet bills. Some even get into debt just to provide their dog or cats with the best healthcare possible. That mixed with the fact that we are Latinos, and that the Latino community is the largest individual minority group in the US, also kind of made a perfect scenario or positioned us to really understand what were the barriers, how we could improve the experience for the Latino market, and really, just to kind of change that switch and understand the cultural needs for, we always have in the financial sector, dial 2 for Spanish. We understand the cultural needs of this market. Having 2 Latino founders, we saw the opportunity to provide a service of the best quality and honestly highly competitive without frictions, which is very easy to understand, very easy to use, and changing the attitude or the fear towards the financial sector, making it more a pleasant experience that adds value to the Latino community and making them feel at home, per se.
Okay. What kind of competition are you guys seeing in the pet insurance market? Because obviously Americans and their affinity for pets, and I know when I walk around my neighborhood just in the last decade, the number of dogs I see has gone up significantly. So people are out there doing it. They're getting more pets. They're having more pets. What opportunities are you seeing in the market, and how do you guys really compare to the competition?
So I would, just to double down on the fact that only 5 million out of the 160 million pets in this country are insured, right? So there's probably 10 significant competitors out there. But I would tell you the largest competitor we have is really just the idea of having pet insurance, just because of the amount of white space that there is in the market. Obviously we believe and we feel like we have a better tech ecosystem. We're, much friendlier to use. We also believe we provide a better product. We're the only company out there that does it end-to-end bilingual, including legal documents, app experience. So there's, a handful of differentiators that we have, but I would tell you that, there is significant competition, but really the largest, driver of growth in this industry will be just current pet owners realizing that there are significant benefits of having your pet insured.
So how do you guys get, I want to, I know we're going to talk a little bit more about this, but what's the number one way that you guys are getting your message out? How do people find out about you guys?
So there's a couple of different ways, honestly, depending, Michael, on what the, I would call it distribution strategy is, but we are constantly trying to create brand recognition, getting, our service out there. And we have, of course, our online presence, which is where we heavily invest, I would say, on a daily basis. We are sitting, I would say, in a different chair than our competition because we are strongly advertising or marketing or getting our name out there to the Spanish speaker. Therefore, we are not competing with the other 10 competitors that Nick just mentioned in terms of direct to consumer, which is, at the end of the day, by design. We also have other ways that we reach the, let's call it the consumer or the client base, which is via affinity partners, so anything retail oriented. We have, agencies and brokers, and of course, employee benefits. So I would say this is the broad spectrum of ways we get our service out there, our brand recognition out there. And we do have a great differentiator, as Nick mentioned, that we are the only ones that end-to-end are fully bilingual. Of course, we also have everything inside the app fully bilingual. You can process claims in 5 minutes with us in English and Spanish. We are the only ones that offer that. And that's essentially, how we're getting our name out there and how we're getting people to use and trust Kangaroo.
Awesome. I love it. So if our listeners want to go out there and they want to check you guys out, where do they go find you on the web?
They can, we encourage anyone to go into Kangaroo Insurance or canguroseguro.com. They can get a quote for their loved pet in 3 minutes, and they can, have a insurance in their pocket in their cell phone in 5 minutes. So we encourage everybody to have pet insurance. We obviously encourage them to use us. And we're also open to partnering with other entrepreneurs that have access to the same demographic, the same consumer base, to build partnerships.
Well, awesome, man. That's great. We love hearing what you guys are doing. And I'm going to tell you, as pet owners out there, I know the one thing that's most important. I think I'm not quite sure with all of them if is it pet then kids, or if it's kids then pet. So I know it's out there, and I know protecting them and making sure they're healthy and they have a great life is so important. So guys, thank you so much for being on. I'm Michael Rager, your business guide here at Biz Talk TV on the NowMedia Television networks, and we'll be back with more right after this.
Thanks, Mike.
Hey, Lily says AT&T's giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
Hello, my name is Charles Sanders, and I'm a personal injury attorney with the Rose Sanders Law Firm, based in Texas and with offices in Houston, Dallas, McAllen, and El Paso. We assist individuals throughout the entire state who have suffered harm due to the negligence of another person. With my experience as an insurance adjuster, I understand and I know exactly how to counter the strategies employed by insurance companies, and I'm bringing this knowledge to you. We handle a wide variety of situations ranging from car accidents to defamation and unsafe property conditions. We are here to provide support and legal representation at no cost to you. Call us today at 713-221-3773.
Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Godet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life.
Best bilingual news, business talk, and technology content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You are watching NowMedia Television, the first bilingual media network in the United States.
El tema está en los países. Liderazgo y experiencia. Nuestro país debe meterse en las grandes discusiones y en los grandes debates. Son parte de una carrera exitosa. Juegan dos estados. Él es referente en el periodismo. No definen el 2024. Javier Solórzano te espera cada noche para llevarte las noticias, el análisis y las entrevistas más importantes de lo que sucede día a día en el país. Este es el referente de la noche.
Hey, welcome back to Biz Talk TV. I'm your business host and guide, Michael Rager. It's that time. We're going to talk about your finances. We got Linda Chung. Linda's going to talk to us about the difference between good debt and bad debt. Is there really a difference? Tell us, Linda.
Well, thank you, Michael. Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be back here. Today's topic is going to be talking about debt. What is good debt or bad debt? When most people think about debt, I think tends to bring up more bad feelings, meaning like it's a source of great stress, and financial stress is probably one of the biggest sources of stress in our country today. It leads to, when we have so much debt, whether it's from a mortgage or credit cards, business loans, personal lines of credit, you name it, when you have a huge burden of debt and you're really just working often to make ends meet, pay the bills, pay off the debt, keep everything running, it can be very stressful at times. And so sometimes it just, is there an opportunity to, is there good debt? Well, I'm going to say it's not so simple. And the answer kind of is depends. So, good debt, well, I'll just say we're all probably very familiar with bad debt. Bad debt, I would say, is debt that is a result of certain habits, meaning simply that you are spending more than you are earning, and often for things that are not assets, meaning they do not create income. So those would be, consumer debt in the sense of buying products, homes, cars, clothes, you name it, trips, things that do not actually, while they may be fun, they do not typically earn income. And they just add to your source of debt and stress. So, but there could also be what's called good debt. And that is where you, I would say most consumers probably have debt, and business owners really more leverage, as opposed to go into debt, leverage other people's money. And that could be considered good debt if it's used really for certain purposes where it would be actually creating income. So bad debt probably would be to, I would say, it could be depends. If you can use debt to buy a car, for example, and if it's just for your personal pleasure, just to ride around, and as you know, when you buy a car, as soon as you drive it off the parking lot, it's a depreciating asset and it doesn't typically make you any money. So that could be considered a bad debt, right? But if you buy a car and then maybe you use it to actually create income, meaning you rent it out, there are various services that you can use that, various businesses that have created, there's Turo, where you can list a car, rent it out. Another one called Get Around, where you can kind of Airbnb for your cars. Then you're turning something that you might have used debt to buy, but it's become an asset because now it creates income. So that can be done personally, but then also that can be done as a business. And that's why, the Uber has been created, and we're buying the same exact behavior, but incurring debt, but also for very different, depends on if it's why ultimately. Okay. And it's really, you want to ask yourself, even if you have a business, then maybe you buy a car, even though you have a business, but is it an asset? Is it just something so that you can brag and, drive around and impress people that you have this big fancy car, and it doesn't create any income. It just costs you because there's the maintenance and the insurance, etc. It's really just an expense there. So you want to ask yourself, those are the questions that you want to ask, like, really, debt is a tool or a means to be able to efficiently, effectively buy things. And you ask yourself if I could actually create income. And generally, if you can use other people's money from a business standpoint, OPM, to buy real estate, then maybe be considered bad debt if it's an investment property that doesn't make good cash flow or is not an appreciating asset. But it would be good if it is a good investment, right? If you can get a return, either cash flow or, appreciation. So when you're evaluating how to spend your money, really, as a business owner, super key to be able to know really your numbers in this, and know really where you're spending your time and where you're spending your dollars, because that will show whether you're operating a profitable business or not. If you could spend $100 to make $400 and to get a $300 profit, that's a 300% profit return. That's pretty good. And it really just matters. These are the questions that as a business owner, you want to evaluate and really understand. There's no kind of inherently this is good or this is bad. It all depends on the situation and on the context. And the most important things you want to ask yourself, well, what am I buying? And why am I buying it? And what is the investment in terms of, borrowing it? Should I use my own capital or should I use other people's money? Other people's money when you're operating as a business, it can be credit cards, which if you're starting off as a business owner, often it is. And then if you're more established, then you could potentially get a business loan and also potentially a business line of credit as well, where you can have access to it. But same thing, whether you're often, as a business owner, you want to be careful in terms of how much you borrow, because you want to make sure that you're not over leveraged, because it can just take a market downturn or a slowing customer base, and then your cash flow dries up. And then you realize that you don't have enough cash flow in your business to be able to all at the same time pay the cost of your debts, and also as well as continuing to invest in marketing, which is the lifeblood of any business. And if you are running out of tight cash flow because sales have come, are not as strong or as consistent, then it's a downward spiral. Okay. Then your income's gone down, and meanwhile your debt and those expenses continue to go up. And that winds up being a very, really costly mistake. The other thing you want to think about debt is how to repay it. And you want to be smart about this, because sometimes, I used to be a corporate lawyer. My clients were the banks and the insurance companies. And you want to be very careful in terms of when you're borrowing money. Sometimes it's very easy to say yes, and sometimes they make it super easy. I was just called today from a banker, and he said, "Oh, we have no paperwork loans, and see if you qualify for it." Sounds simple, sounds interesting, but also caveat, usually those things that sound too good to be true tend to be too good to be true. And you want to really be careful, because you want to look at, is the interest rate on loan, is it fixed? Is it variable? A lot of people now, especially in the real estate market, when the real estate market was very strong and it was a seller's market, then people were entering into short 5-year fixed arm real estate. And now in this development, things change. It went from average 3% interest rate to more than double that now. How quickly it can change. So no one can really predict that. So you want to be very, very aware that just because things have been good for a little while or current doesn't mean that it will stay like that. So we saw, how quickly the market can change. And even just taking care of some small details about how you pay back loans, whether it's a mortgage or a loan, you want to really understand things that, like terms, so tend to focus so much on the interest rate and, maybe the monthly payments, and we don't look at the terms, which terms, as a corporate lawyer, that's what I did. I wrote those terms. Terms can make or break a deal. You want to understand if you're taking a loan, is there a prepayment penalty? Is there a fee associated with that? Sometimes they don't want, and if you're the borrower, you don't want a prepayment penalty, because you want to have the ability, for whatever reason, you might be able to refinance and not be stuck in this costly loan. And you also want to make sure with loans that you understand the payment terms. This is just from a consumer standpoint, but also it can apply to business loans, where just recognize every second, that loan is outstanding. The bank is making money 24/7 on interest. So even if they don't penalize you and say the due date is on the 1st and say, oh, you have until the 10th to pay it off, that doesn't mean you should wait until the 10th to pay it off, because they didn't do that out of the goodness of their own heart. Really, those 10 days, they're getting, guess what? More interest, more principal at that point. So really, you want to make sure you're setting yourself up for success and not paying unnecessary interest, meaning like you understand the terms of your note. You want to pay off your loans simply as soon as you can. And sometimes if you're able to, pay off more than just once a month. Just pay it off sooner rather than the due date. Make a payment as close as possible to the closing date. And that way you're accruing less interest. If you can pay it off once a month and you can pay it off, the same amount per month, bi-weekly, twice a month, or even weekly. Those are ways that you can, for the same amount per month, be able to pay off your debts and loans sooner without spending anything more. So banks take advantage of the fact that most people are just default to the easy, simple way and rely on the auto pay set up by the bank, when that is not necessarily the most advantageous way to pay back debt. So really, to sum it up, you want to be smart about why you're incurring debt. You want to understand the terms of the debt, and you really want to understand how you can pay off in general the loan sooner without spending anything more, so that improves your balance sheet, improves your cash flow, and also just in general, it's less stress-free. So hope that helps. And any questions or issues, you can reach me at lindachung.official on Instagram and on my website, chungfinancialservices.com. And thank you, Michael, for having me here. It's a pleasure to be here, and great to look forward to connecting again soon.
And I'm telling you, good debt versus bad debt, how you're going to pay it, what are you going to do? These things are all things you need to consider when you're going to be using OPM, other people's money. It's really important. This is Michael Rager. I'm your business guide and host of Biz Talk TV here on the NowMedia Television Networks. We're going to be back with more right after this.
Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Godet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life.
Palitos y Bolitas es la catedral de la explicación. Este programa es la única parada que necesitas para entender los porqués y cómo de todo lo que pasa en México y el mundo. Lunes a viernes, 7 p.m. por Heraldo Televisión.
El tema está en los países. Liderazgo y experiencia. Nuestro país debe meterse en las grandes discusiones y en los grandes debates. Son parte de una carrera exitosa. Se juegan dos estados. Él es referente en el periodismo. No definen el 2024. Javier Solórzano te espera cada noche para llevarte las noticias, el análisis y las entrevistas más importantes de lo que sucede día a día en el país. Este es el referente de la noche.
Working to have the right attorney at your side. Hi, my name is Sonia Aston, and I'm an attorney with over 30 years of experience. I've helped small and medium-sized businesses and business owners to make sure that their legal rights and interests are protected. As general counsel for you, draft and review contracts, minimize the risk of litigation, review and prepare comprehensive business succession plans, or help you navigate your company with the local, state, and federal government. Take a decisive step today. I'm here to make sure your legal rights are protected and you have a peace of mind that you deserve.
Hey, what a great show today. I'm telling you, I love when we have Elena on. We're talking those politics. I really wish you guys could hear what we said behind the scenes when the camera's off. You know, we can't put that all on TV, but it's really good stuff. Get in there and follow Elena. She's got some great stuff that's going on and why we need to look at bringing a political system back to not just two parties, because it's got to be about we the people, not just about us the right, us the left, where it goes. I think she brings some great things to it. We had two new guests today, Andreas and Nick. I'm telling you, how do you go just tap a market that's just booming? I am talking booming. If you're going to start a new business, the pet industry, that's the way to go. And you got a market right here with 16 million potential customers, and only 4 are using the product. I'm telling you, you got a lot of growth there. And then Linda just talking about some great things about debt and what we got to do. How do we use it in a positive and negative way? It's the things that we really got to look at as business owners. So I want to make sure that you guys, the business owner, you let us know what you need to hear, what you want to hear on Biz Talk. Make sure you're following us on Instagram. You're following us on, where else are we? You know, we're over there on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook. We're everywhere. Go out and follow us. Come back. Watch the show. Actually, I showed my kid. We're on Spotify too. So go out there and follow us. Enjoy Biz Talk TV. I'm your host and business guide, Michael Rager. We'll see you next time.
This has been a NowMedia Television feature presentation. All rights reserved.
Hey, Lily says AT&T is giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
Hello, my name is Charles Sanders, and I'm a personal injury attorney with the Rose Sanders Law Firm, based in Texas and with offices in Houston, Dallas, McAllen, and El Paso. We assist individuals throughout the entire state who have suffered harm due to the negligence of another person. With my experience as an insurance adjuster, I understand and I know exactly how to counter the strategies employed by insurance companies, and I'm bringing this knowledge to you. We handle a wide variety of situations, ranging from car accidents to defamation and unsafe property conditions. We are here to provide support and legal representation at no cost to you. Call us today at 713-221-3773.
Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Godet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life.
Best bilingual news, business talk, and technology content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You are watching NowMedia Television, the first bilingual media network in the United States.
4 y 25 de agosto. El tema está en que los países... Liderazgo y experiencia. Nuestro país debe meterse en las grandes discusiones y en los grandes debates. Son parte de... y